Hey everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Greg's Beer Reviews today. Hopefully this is going to be a big treat. This is Billy Half Stacked IPA. Say that 3 times real fast. From Singlecut Beersmiths. These guys are out of New York. Let's see, Astoria, New York. 6.6%er. IBUs, it says here on Rate Beer, is 88, which is a little on the high side for a single IPA, a regular IPA, especially at 6.6% alcohol. I find that a little high, but these guys usually do a pretty good job of making a good tasty beer. This comes from Rico, my brother. He sent a little note here. He says Singlecut Half Stack 66 American IPA with 101 IBUs. Whereas Rate Beer has it at 88. Untapped has it as 101. So let's see if it's on the bottle. Drink this beer fresh, do not age. Bottled on February 16th of 2017. This is a 2017 edition of it. And I'm going to take him for what his word is. I don't see the IBUs on the label here. Oh, yeah, it does too. It says here, Billy Half Stack IPA is created from our brewmaster's recipe honed to perfection over the span of many years, an entirely original combination of Pacific Northwest, New Zealand, and Australian hops totaling 101 IBUs. Wow! That is whopper IBUs for a single IPA, guys. That's a double IPA IBU. So, wow. I'm hoping it's not going to be bitter. Of course, I enjoy a bitter beer, but they need to be balanced. Somebody just getting into IPAs, try to drink something that has 101 IBUs, and it's going to blow their palate out of their mouth. So, said he purchased this last week for $6. So, a little on the pricey side, but it's not a 22 ouncer, I don't think, but it's bigger than a 12. So, it says here, commercial description on Rate Beer, crank the hops to the point right before taste buds bleed. Yeah, I agree with that. And an original and hard to get blend. And this says here 88 IBUs, so I'm going to stop right there. They've got the IBUs completely wrong on this beer. And the label for the bottle they've got is a different version of what I have here. So, and that is the only one listed here under Rate Beer for the Half Stack IPA. So, we're going to chuck that one out. We're not even going to use their information, because they evidently are using a different year beer or something for this one. This is this year's edition. So, and there's nothing else written on Beer Advocate about it. So, I guess we're done there. 101 IBUs. Wow, that blows me away that that's much IBUs on a 6.6% beer. And using the New Zealand and Australian hops, you should have some spiciness too. Those hops do provide that. All right, let's get it open. Let's see what we have. All right, I'm going to get it in the glass. Cuisine is curried in a Thai. Cheese is pepper jack, shark, blue, cheddar, your more pungent cheeses, gorgonzola, Limburger. The meat is poultry, fish, shellfish, and salmon, and I'll add grilled meat to that. Glass red pint backer, Nonic, tumbler, steins, mug, Sidell. I'm using my favorite tulip glass again today, guys. And not recommended for extended cellaring. About a half a finger of head on that. It is kind of cloudy. It looks like an unfiltered beer, guys. I can see a little bit of light down here, but none through the big bulb part here. Get a nose on it. Oh, very wonderful. Citrusy. Hints of pine, a lot of tangerine. Maybe a little bit of mango. I'm not getting a huge spiciness on the nose. More citrusy tangerine oranges than anything else. Well, let's dive in and see what we got. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Rico. A little bit of spiciness in the taste. There is some strong bitterness to it, but I would have never guessed this was 101 IBUs. But it is strong. I would probably guess it was in the 80s or low 90s. 101. Wow. For that many IBUs, it's very well done. And these guys are really good at doing that. I wanted to get it all in there so we can see if it clouded it up anymore. Doesn't look like it did. I still see a little bit of light through the thin part. It definitely looks like an unfiltered beer, though. I'm getting that spicy twang from the New Zealand and Australian hops, and they do provide that most of the time. Tasty beer. Oh yeah. Well, let me let her take a sip, 2 or 3, and sip on it for a little while and see what we end up with. See if anything changes. If I can detect anything other than what I've told you already when I come back. You'll see where it ends up. Alright guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. Very tasty beer. Does have a strong bitterness on the back end for 101 IBUs. This would not be my first choice if I was just getting into IPAs. A little too strong on the bitterness. Now you guys that's used to drinking IPAs and double IPAs, you'll probably enjoy this. This is probably a pretty tasty beer. The New Zealand and Australian hops do lead a little spiciness to the beer. Very tasty though. Very well done. For something with this big of IBUs, it's done very well. And these guys at Singlecut do some awesome beers. But this would not be your faint of heart or your transitional beer for somebody trying to get into IPAs. A little heavy on the bitterness for that aspect, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty tasty. For the date being on the bottle, IBUs are on the bottle, and the ABV is on the bottle. Guys, I think it's pretty damn tasty. So let's do the final chug here. Very nice, very citrusy. A lot of oranges and tangerines and hints of some tropical fruit notes. Very tasty, very, very tasty. A- for me, guys. I did enjoy this. I think it'd be better if it's just a little bit bigger on the ABV for that amount of IBUs. That's enough IBUs for a double IPA, but it's done very well. Like I said, not for the faint of heart or a transitional IPA, in my opinion. Numeric rating on this, guy, would probably be 92. That's where I'm going to put it. And like I told you earlier, Rate Beer doesn't have the right ABV or anything on this beer, so we're going to leave them out of this one. Over to Beer Advocate. Hey, they say 92 also. Outstanding. We're agreed. It is. That's exactly where I'm putting it. And over to Untappd for our final check-in. They have it at 3.95, which is right on their verge of B plus A minus. So that's where I'm putting it. It is a tasty beer. These guys, I don't think they make a bad beer. But I just find it a little heavy on the IBUs. Other than that, very nice. I enjoyed it. Thanks again, Rico, my brother. I do appreciate it. If you've had this one from Singlecut Beersmiths, this is their Half Stack IPA, or Billy's Half Stack IPA. That's what it's got on here. Billy Half Stack IPA. 16.9 fluid ounces, so just a little bit bigger than a 16 ouncer. Not quite to the bomber category, 22 ounces. So the bottle looks like a 22 ouncer, but it's just a tad smaller than that. And like I told you, Rico said he paid like $6 for this. Yeah, $6. Not too bad. Not too bad. That's reasonable. Some people may find that to be a little pricey, but I have paid $5 at a bar for a Budweiser, so not too awful bad. If you've had this one, let me know what you think, guys. Come on back tomorrow and let's see what we can dig out of the fridge. See you then.